Verbal or life.
Here we go with the conspiracy theories. You know, we are living in some crazy times where people almost die during a political speech. That's things you read in books and history books and stuff. But now it's happening in real life. Crazy. Check out this video.
Shooter Mathew Crooks doing in the minutes before, and when would the snipers have had him in view as he crawled up the roof? I have the most rock solid evidence this far that Mathew Crooks was the lone gunman. With new evidence.
By the way, welcome to Verbal on Life. My name is Noel. Battling the mess over here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you do, remember to give this video a like. Let's make it happen.
Evidence coming available, a clearer picture is starting to form. So let's go through what we know from the video and audio evidence and try and figure out where the two counter sniper shots came from.
Welcome to Verbal on Life.
We have video clips of Crooks running along the roof 3 minutes before the first shot. The one is body cam of him running without much effort to conceal himself. The other clip was captured by one of the victims who was wounded and has him dropping out of sight and then popping back up again.
All right. You get ready, McCormick. You get ready. I'll get you up here.
And the cops were talking about him on the radio and had spotted him.
Someone's on the roof.
What's up, man?
I have someone on the roof with white shorts.
See that dude running?
These clips overlap each other in time, and seen from the camera angle, this is what that part looks like. And it is pretty remarkable that nobody in the audience actually spotted him, even though he was so conspicuous. From these two clips, this appears to be his most probable path, where he needed to navigate two gaps in the roofs. He paused somewhere around here for a short while, perhaps getting his weapon out of his backpack to assemble it, and it was when he crossed over the last gap that the crowd spotted him with his rifle and filmed this clip.
Because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
And then he starts his crawl up the roof. And then about a minute before the first shot, policeman popped his head over here. The shooter noticed him and aimed his weapon at the cop. These video tracks, which have been synchronized to the same time, give a good idea of what was happening around the building. Here we have a horse, blissfully unaware of what's about to happen, and the cop who's now been alerted and is hoisted up. And the camera is not quite at his eye height, so it doesn't see everything that he sees. But as he pops his head over, he sees Crooks close by with his weapon. Susan sees him, he drops straight back down again.
You know, I wonder what that cop was thinking. You know, okay, it is horrifying to see a guy point a gun at you. Crazy. But this man just jumped down and ran. Like, was he trying to run to the front of the building to maybe get a clear shot? Or what? Like, what was he running for? Can you at least call somebody or take a shot into the sky or do something to get somebody's attention? But you know what? They call that Monday quarterbacking, where you could talk about what could have happened, but it's just crazy to see this cop run away like this.
And now he runs around to the front to try and go and see if he can get another view of him. And there's the cop, the body cam running around to the other side. The guy who's filming is under this tree, filming this video over here. And then we get two glimpses of the
Small, bro. I don't know
shooter.
what's going on.
So there we see him. It is 4 seconds to go. Then we see him again. His long hair and the rifle. In the 20.
It's crazy that regular YouTube creators are able to put together videos and make an assessment as to what's going on. And then you have the federal government talking about they still studying the case. They're still seeing all the evidence. They take forever to clear things up. So it makes you think, why? Like, they should just have one guy or maybe a group of 2 or 3 people sitting down, looking at all the videos, all the footage, and then coming up with a conclusion similar to the ones these guys are creating. So, again, that's where more conspiracy theories come out. Let me know what you think. Comment down below.
Yes, the roof pan is the one that was lying in, and we can reference that later. And 1 second to go, and then we have the shots firing. And then we have a 10th shot after a 10-second delay.
Shots fired.
So as he's approaching the top of the roof, he knows there's a cop behind him. He knows there are snipers on the roof. The crowd is going nuts.
You know what? Let me pause it for a little bit. Actually, this is a good part. Let me see him shooting.
And the adrenaline must have been really pumping. So he knew he could waste no time. And there was a 9th shot from a counter sniper that missed. We know that it missed because between the 9th and the 10th shot, there's footage of him looking back towards the crowd under the...
This video is showing that the 9th shot actually hit his gun, and then the 10th shot took him out. So shout out to the snipers.
The trees. It could be he was looking for where the shot that missed came from. And then the 10th shot fired, and multiple people in the crowd obviously saw this and reacted as the shot took out Crooks. These are the bullet trajectories that we know of. The first shot glanced Trump's ear. The second or the third shot wounded David Dutch, who was in the corner of the far bleacher. Then likely the 4th or the 5th bullet struck James Copenhaver, also wounding him. And then the 6th shot took the life of Corey Comparatore. So the question is, when did these counter snipers first see Crooks on the roof? It goes without saying that, of course, he should have been spotted by whoever was patrolling this roof. And there were 2 counter snipers from local police units in windows in the 2nd story.
I mean, yeah, we all got theories after the fact, after it happened. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to have an opinion. I mean, his opinion sounds good. My opinion is that I want to see what happens next. And yeah, somebody covered Trump very good. I think it was God or something. For this man to still be alive, screaming, fight, fight, fight. That's the best video clip ever. Real life, not a movie. Real life movie. I mean, real life video clip. So shout out to the good Trump 2024. All right, let me see if the video is filming correctly.
Unexplained reasons left their posts. So it was left up to these snipers to neutralize Crooks. These snipers would have been at the highest position to look down the incline of the roof. The Secret Service snipers who were closer to Crooks had the best chance of seeing him, and because of their high angle, they would have spotted him pretty early as he crawled up the roof. However, they had the tree in the way, which may have entirely or partially blocked their view of him. But there is footage of them actually looking in this direction. And perhaps they alerted the other team who had a clear shot.
It's funny if the shooter and the And the snipers locked eyes, looked dead at each other's faces, and thought about it like, yeah, what you gonna do? I need a minute.
Who then turned around and started.
Ah, my voice, I gotta fix this. I'm trying to create a best streaming possible for you guys. But yeah, I think the shooter and the snipers, they locked eyes and looked at each other like, I dare you. Go ahead, pull that trigger.
Looking towards Crooks.
Of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
And this is the view
Great
from the
shot.
Southern Secret Service sniper team. And about a minute before, they had turned around and had him in view. Who would have caught Crooks pretty early on his climb, but certainly near the top, he would have been very visible. So this is what they would have likely seen of him.
Immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So what do we know about the 10 shots and where they were fired from? So the best audio recording we have was by Dave Stewart. There was the least shouting and background noise, and it was also the closest to the gunman, only about 35 yards away. In this sequence, we have slowed down the speed to 20% of normal speed, and the first 8 shots have been set at exactly the same time spacing. And with having it slowed it down, you can better hear the fine differences in the sound. So there are 8 shots fired inside 6 seconds. Then there's a 1 second gap between 8 and 9. And between 9 and 10, there's a 10-second gap. And then 10 is the final shot. These are audio tracks that captures all 10 shots to give a clearer picture of all the shots. First one is the David Stewart film, which also captures the gunman on the roof. And we see him over there a couple of seconds before firing. And this shot was filmed around this tree here. Then what I call running along the fence. And in my previous video, I incorrectly located the video being recorded over there. It started off next to the fence here. And then once the shot started, then the cameraman ran along the fence and eventually stopped about over here. So there is some movement in this location. Then footage captured at the foot of the north bleacher, which also captures all 10 gunshots. Then the lectern microphone, and there are multiple sources for this with slight variations, and this particular track captured the 10th shot the best. But the shots were suppressed, so they don't register very well in the audio. And then another one, which is also happens to record the puff from the round striking the handrail. And it also captures David Dutch with a leather hat and American shirt, and also James Copenhaver, who was wearing the white top with a blue hat. And then the other clip was captured by John Mallis, and he started off approximately over here. And then as the crowd was started to run away with the gunshots, he then moved next to the trunk of this tree. So what you see here is all those tracks stacked one above the other to align the shots as best as we can. The gunshots are by far the clearest in the Dave Stewart audio recording because it has the least crowd shouting and background noise, and then progressively more and more noise, and particularly this one where very difficult to visually see where the gunshots happened. When you listen to them, you can distinctly isolate them. And it's clear from this that the first 8 shots match up in terms of their timing. Shot 8 and shot 9 obviously have different timings because they were varying distances from the recording source. And these first 8 shots have slight variances in their timing. Analyzing those in greater depth, we then arrive at timing differences, which range from positive 0.01 seconds to negative.
Again, everybody has their own theory, and the government needs to just put out what they know, because regular YouTubers are making videos of the different information they're getting from just regular people recording with their phones. This is crazy. Conspiracy theories galore.
Negative 0.012 seconds, and translating that into a distance, that is negative 11 feet to positive 13 feet. And if we look at that in a graph form, try and see any pattern, we can see that they are just generally variable. There's no difference between the first 3 shots and the second 5. They just have
Look at everything they got, man. They got graphs, they got data, they got sound experts and video experts putting a bunch of whole shit out. And yet the government cannot just do a press conference and tell people what happened that particular day. We're living in some crazy times.
normal randomness between them. And the most extreme cases are shot number 6. We'll also notice here that shot number 6 wasn't registered on the lectern microphone. And the explanation for that is that's likely the shot that struck Cori Comparatore, and so that bullet never made it past the microphone to register the sound. So considering that the variance is negative 11 feet to positive 13 feet, that then logically translates the shots would have been fired from within a circle of 13 feet radius. So for me, that is rock solid evidence that Crooks fired the first 8 shots. And a witness who was next to the tree with David Stewart over here watched as Crooks fired all the shots, and he saw muzzle flash from the first volley and the second volley of shots. And he's convinced that Crooks fired all 8 shots. Now, we don't have any official confirmation where shots 9 and 10 came from, so at this point we can only guess. It seems generally accepted that the 10th shot came from the Secret Service team on the southern barn, and initially there was suggestion that the 9th shot was fired from this grandstand over here, 350 yards away. Then later, the Washington Post reported that multiple sources have anonymously said the 9th shot was fired from approximately this location here, between the North Bleachers and the Secret Service team. So to try and figure out where the shots may have been fired from, I experimented with various sonic cones, and the sonic cone from this grandstand here did not match up with the various recording locations. So then I tested the Washington Post location over here, and results that are not exact, but they are feasible. So to try and figure out shots 9 and 10 through triangulation, this simulates the bullet and the cone going past and tries to align it with where it registers in the audio track. And as a starting point, we use shot number 8 to register Dave Stewart and the fence video, then the North Bleacher and the lectern, and then John Malice under the trees. So the first place to register sound would be Dave Stewart over there.
It's crazy all the work that's being done to figure out what the hell happened that particular day. And you're telling me that government cannot do the same and then just have a press conference and point all this out? Like, we got to wait a month for them to put out the truth of what really happened that particular day? Crazy.
And the North Bleacher and the lectern and running along the fence, and then John Malice. And as I said, there are some anomalies. It's not perfect. The Dave Stewart location is picking the sound up too early, and as is the John Malice location. The rest seem reasonable fits. And then if we look at shot number 10, coming from the southern barn, the North Bleacher and the lectern pick up the sound first. Next would be Dave Stewart. That's a pretty good match there. Then running along the fence. And as I said, the video shows the cameraman had moved to approximately this location, which ties up. And then finally, the John Malice location, which matches up very nicely. Now, shot number 10 seems to be a good fit. And shot number 9 has got some anomalies, but certainly seems feasible. We have to wait for an official statement as to where shot number 9 was fired from. Is the fact that they're being so secretive related to the fact that the shot missed? So this is where Crooks was found, and his rifle was 8 feet to the left. And Crooks' position was 20 roof pans counting from over here. And that also ties with the Dave Stewart video. He was also lying in the 20th pan, which confirms where he was captured in the video is the same position where he was found. Now, the position of the rifle away from Crooks is not unusual because it's the standard procedure to remove a weapon from a shooter, even if he's been neutralized. On top of that, they tied his hands behind his back with cable ties. And according to the body cam footage, these are the position of the casings, which would have been how the weapon would have ejected them. And to line up the shot, he would have had to lie across some of the roof seams, which would have...
By the way, reports say that they got rid of the body, that it was the FBI like 3 days after, or I don't know how many days, but shortly after, just got rid of the body. So there's no more studying the body or what happened, or all they got is the picture in this video.
have made aiming uncomfortable. And the 9th shot that missed is when he turned and looked in the direction of the crowd who were underneath these trees over here. There have been questions about the elevations of the trajectory, and if we take Crooks's rifle as the datum, from my measurements, Trump's ear was only 3 foot lower than Crooks's rifle. He's essentially a flat shot. This was a security fiasco, not because of inadequate manpower. Instead, it was abysmal communication between agencies and complacency in command and planning. As new information comes to light, details will change.
All right, we're going to leave it there. What else?
Trump dodged a bullet, and America dodged an almighty one.
So that was a great video. Thank you for joining me and watching the latest as to what's going on with Trump shooter. It is crazy. And again, more and more conspiracy theories are going to come out as more and more facts come out. But from this point on, all we got is the video evidence of the people. Plus, hello, this is easier, better than reset there. So all we got is whatever evidence is out there. That means the video camera that the people hold. And then the government is going to put out whatever statement they want. But we're in the election season. So you can't, the media is not going to let Trump look like a god. So they're not going to put that much information. As a matter of fact, they don't even talk about it anymore in the news or as much. It's like old news. And I think they're doing this for now, temporarily, until they need to bring it back later on, depending on how the news is doing. But thanks for watching with me. My name is Noel, battling MS, here at Verbal on Life, just trying to be verbal and talking about the latest things happening. If you enjoyed this stream, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That's all I'm asking. And let's keep it moving. Next, we're going to watch a video on Vivek Ramaswamy destroying the Breakfast Club. Let's go.
Verbal or life.
All right, so Vivek Ramaswamy. The man is a genius and goes without saying. He's already a billionaire with way money, a family, kids. The man owns a plane, I think, a private jet, houses. He has it all and decided to go into politics to try to save this country that he saw was headed in the wrong direction. And a lot of people are talking about how this country is headed in the wrong direction. And it just needs to be saved by smarter people, because it's unbelievable that we don't have that many smart people in politics. Like, for example, the Democratic Party, like, this is the best they got. A Kamala Harris who doesn't really know how to speak to the audience or doesn't really know how to run a campaign. Like, this is the best they can do. It feels like they have, like, the deep state running her election and running the country. The people behind the scene that we don't see. The people who the president works for. They don't work for the president. The president gets a job and works for them. So at this point, you're doing such a horrible job that I hope we get Trump in there to fire all these people and fix things up. Let's see. Hopefully he doesn't sell out. But I got to appreciate the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy is doing a great job at staying in the public light. Because at the end of the day, it's a popularity contest. Running for president is a popularity contest. Like right now, Trump is very, very popular and famous. So Vivek is taking the steps to become that famous and become a voice. And everybody respects his voice. Like when he talks, the man is clear. And he makes sense to a whole lot of people. He knows how to dumb down his conversation so that everybody understands. So the intellectuals agree with him, and everybody else, the common working person, truly understand what he's saying. For example, let's take a look at him at the Breakfast Club. Let me see if I can play this video without getting ejected. Check it out. This man operates like you gotta let people talk their truth because it's their truth. She was wrong for it, not him. He knew how to respond to it. How do you deal with somebody who's racist? Not start crying and start saying, oh my God, they're being racist. No, you let them talk. You let them ruin themselves because he's going to be okay. This is something that I got to show my son. Great way to respond. Would I have responded like that? Probably not. You know, I've been, I think, fooled by the Democratic Party. Growing up in New York City, all you know is Democrat, blue, no matter who. So, always taking the victimhood mentality and letting others speak to you like you're the victim, so therefore people got to do stuff for you instead of just showing how great you are. I think it's called meritocracy. That's what's missing. Just be great like this guy. When it comes to being an entertainer, a celebrity, or even in politics, a lot of people change their names and change their views to go with whatever the crowd thinks or whatever the crowd likes. Like Nikki Haley, that's not her real name, but she made it that so more people like her. Right now, Kamala Harris changing stance on everything, not everything, but a lot of ideas that she has. Why? To try to go with the flow, go with the crowd. Growing up in Harlem, I hated going with the crowd. And you know what happens when you don't go with the crowd? You don't make that many friends, right? Because Harlem, everybody wants you to be that big bad guy, fight the cops, shoot, sell drugs, get arrested. I didn't agree with none of that. I'm like, I don't need to go to jail. I don't need to be that tough guy. So that means growing up with not a lot of friends because all your friends were tough. You know, doing the first, second stint with jail. Shout out to Knock on Knock Chris, big baller. But, you know, he did what he had to do and I did my thing. I love the fact that that particular guy left me alone. Hey, do your thing. I don't know you. Let's go. All right, let's finish listening to Vivek. Where was I? That's crazy. My man is now using identity politics. He should tell people, vote for me because I'm Indian. But I love the fact that he's not saying that. He's not using that. He's showing you what he's thinking. He's clear about it. And if you're confused, this man answer questions. He would say, listen, talk. What's your question? Be clear. Let's all be clear. Let's talk. I love the fact that he talks everything out. That is so difficult to find. Like, for example, Kamala Harris now is up to what, 30 days with no interviews and no talking to reporters, just hiding. I think it's difficult to do. It's difficult to answer questions honestly and just have a real conversation with people. Difficult to do. But what am I talking about? Let's keep listening. That's crazy. You know how many times I feel like just giving up and letting go? And that's the worst idea, to just walk away. The fact that you're waking up, you're getting up, and you are trying says a lot. Because not a lot of people have the balls to just keep trying, to keep pushing forward. So, hey, nobody can talk bad about this message, the message this man just put out there, that the main factor is you. And you taking a look at the scene out there and then assessing what can you do different, what can you fix, what can you change, what stays the same. I mean, look at that. That's my opinion. Let's keep listening. You know how hard it is for people to do that? Like, I'm trying to figure out, how do I teach my son how to lose, right? Or how to fail? Because everybody fails as something in life. It's just part of life, right? So how do you deal with a failure? How do you learn from it, number one? Number two, how do you get up the next day and just work stronger or differently, change things up, be a little better? And that's a lesson that I think people should learn. That's it. Even if you get turned down or discouraged from doing something, to get up and keep working the next day. It's not over. It's not over. The fight still goes on. So for a lot of people who's just getting into the blaming game, that sucks. It's because I'm black. It's because I'm Hispanic. It's because I'm different. No, we need to walk away from that. Number one is you. Once you could do greatness, can't nobody mess with you. That's insane. When you could do something that you are the best at, and then you assess yourself and decide whether you keep going or just change it up. It's nice when you can make that assessment and not let others make that assessment for you. Here I am battling MS. How am I battling MS? Trying to move as much as possible, created a YouTube channel, and just talking into the camera, right? Is it working? I'm making that assessment. I'm going to see if I could get any ratings or any views or comments or likes. So if you're still watching this video, go ahead and give this video a like. But my solution to my problem is making YouTube video, talking as much as possible, because little by little, a little faster than most regular people, I'm losing a lot of my abilities, motor functioning abilities. So I'm going to keep talking. Going back to Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm really inspired by this guy. Let's keep listening. Hopefully he's going to run for president in one of these presidential elections in the future. Let's go.
But you
flip-flopping. I used to be a Democrat, not anymore, man. Those guys are the slave owners, are the ones running the slave camp. They're good. They got a bunch of intellectual, a lot of college graduates that are just continue to make people or continue to hold other races down. And then the magic is letting people believe that you're doing good. Yes, you're a victim. Yes, play that victimhood mentality. All of this is because they're not using DEI, which to me is another word for affirmative action. It is their fault, it's not yours. You are the victim. But look at me, changed my mind. You know what? Through and through, I'm a Republican. We need Trump back in the White House. We need a guy that can take a bullet to the face and keep it moving. Let's go. Why are we going to get mom in there? Mama Kamala. I don't see, if a man votes for Kamala, you got issues, my man. You got issues. You're probably going through the transition process right now, and that's what you're voting for her. Jesus.
That.
With massive deportation, economics, and what's the other one he said? See that? I can't stick to the issues like he can. But I guess those three things that he just mentioned, I just see Trump repeating those things every single time he has a rally. You know, massive deportation and helping people economically. And that third issue, which, let me rewind it a little bit.
Plus days, that's who wins this election.
Mass illegal immigration, economic growth, and staying out of World War III.
Staying out of World War III, of course. We all know that affects the military complex. So that's going to be an issue. I hope Trump brings him in. I don't know, as part of the party to help break that system up. You know, there's so many systems that definitely whoever wins the presidency, they run the country. Behind the scenes, they're talking about who is the deep state. Well, these are the people who run the country. You cannot fire them. You can't say anything to them, right? All you can do is discipline them. I think Trump said at one time that Biden doesn't fire anybody. He doesn't remove anybody. And there's a lot of people that needs to get removed. And that's why they're working overtime to make sure Trump doesn't win. I mean, there are conspiracies saying that they try to kill him, but we don't know. So there is a deep state and they got to get removed. It's only a job. It's not the end of the world. So just letting them go find another profession, because this one is over. We need a president with a spine to run this country. And having the deep state that you can't fire me, you work for me, so shut the hell up, team. We got to get rid of those people, unfortunately.
Now.
And that's another thing, that they're saying that Biden might not make it all the way to January. So if she's given the presidency for anything that happens to the poor old man Biden, if he gives up and just walks away, that would be the first female president. I mean, she will be number 47 and Trump winning will be number 48. So we are living into an interesting time, like a real life movie. So it's good that I'm documenting all of this on video, Comment down below. What do you think if she becomes the 47th president, and then Trump will end up winning, becoming the 48th? I don't know though if he becomes the 48th, because they're talking about arresting him on September 18th. I got to make another video about that he might go to jail September 18th. And then who dares vote for a guy who's in jail? And even if he wins, Congress may say that we cannot give the authority to somebody who's in jail serving time. Wow. Again, we live in a real life movie. Is Congress going to allow a guy that's in jail run the country? You know, so still a lot of fighting to go. This is becoming a great, great movie. What's going to happen after he gets sentenced on September 18th? I wonder, how far will the truth get you in life? Like, wow, Vivek just dropped some truth bombs right there. And it makes you wonder, is being honest about what you stand for and who you are, does that get you far in life? Because a lot of people that lie get far in life. You know, a lot of people that just make things up as they go, as they go with the crowd. And maybe, you know, here, personally, I hated the fact that you had to go with the crowd in order to get anywhere in life. So I grew up in Harlem, New York City. I didn't go with the crowd. A lot of people in the crowd, moving forward, seems easy for them. Like they just got to grab as much as possible from the government, take as much money as they can from the government. But the government was buying them off for like $200-$300 a month. And they're like, wow, they're smart. They're slick. They're getting the government to pay their rent. And they don't fight back because of that. Like the Blue No Matter Who crowd are getting money from the government. And the government, they're geniuses about it. They know that with a few bucks, they could get far. And they don't even paint the picture of the fact that you could create a business and go further in life on your own independently. And of course, you got the few men and women that figure it out and do get a job and do move ahead and do go to college and get a good paying profession. And once you move out, you're like, you know what? I'm not getting involved in this politics. It's too much. You know, I got my family to work with. I'm making good money. So you have a lot of intellectuals walking away. I personally just walked away. I said, you know what? You can't help them. They're too smart, right? Smart enough they go to jail a couple hundred times, they get out, and they keep trying to do illegal stuff. There is no helping them. I like what Anton Daniel said. Forget them. That's it. Just walk away. You can't help them. The best you could do is help yourself. And that's the best way you could role model anything. Just do great. Hopefully you'll see it. If you don't see it, you're smart. Like, to me, everybody who didn't make it is a genius. Like, I have a bunch of cousins that went that route, selling drugs, being cool in town, and, you know, holding guns and going in and out of jail. Got a couple of cousins that got deported. They're the geniuses, smart guys. They didn't have to go to college. They didn't have to follow any rules. They didn't have to do anything. But ultimately, yes, they just end up going to jail or getting deported. Got a bunch of those. It's a sad situation. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about me. Again, grew up in New York City. Didn't follow the crowd, and that's what happens. Now here I am. Noel, on Verbal on Life, just being verbal about different things in life. Battling MS and not giving up. That's another trick to life. Don't give up. Just keep pushing forward. And that's it. I can still move my fingers. I can still talk at 45 years old. And things just keep getting better and better. Shout out to Vivek. That was a great video we just saw. The man definitely is a role model. And no, I don't think we're gonna get to that level. You're gonna get to the best you can be. So I'm gonna try to be the best that I can. One of the difficult things that I want to perfect or get better at is just talking my ideas, just speaking into the mic. You know how hard it is? Just put your ideas out there. Well, you do know, and that's when you don't do it. So let's just keep pushing forward. With that said, that Vivek interview was amazing. And the only thing I could pull out from that is just be honest. Just speak your truth, your honesty, and let the chips fall where they may. That's it. At least I go to bed. I was honest with myself. tomorrow or the next day, just push a little better. Take a look at this video and see what changes need to be made that I feel needs to be made. I'm like my number one salesman, right? I sell idea to myself, see what works, what doesn't work. And then my goal is to convince myself first and then try to convince others. All right, I've been on this for an hour. With that said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Give it a like so we can get more and more views. Peace.
Verbalonlife.
All right, let's see what else is up. With that said, again, Vivek Ramaswamy is on another level. That video is over. So many of it there. Peace out.